Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Kanade, and today we will start our second unit of the subject Advanced Microcontroller and its applications. Okay. This unit is about, um the name of the unit is Assembly Language Programming, right? But as you are aware that we have already started writing some programs in assembly language for PKTNA 458. So what it means is, in this unit, we are going to see some bigger programs, some more advanced instructions, and some advanced operations that can be performed using the PKTNA 458. Of course, those are not really advanced operations as you would expect. Those are still uh, basic operations inside the microcontroller with some interfacing with the ports. Okay, but some uh, little more complicated concepts like looping, most importantly the looping concepts, and the subroutine means, which you call normally in higher level languages you call those as functions. In assembly programming we call those as subroutines. So those things we will see in this unit. Okay. But the beginning of this unit will be with the topic addressing modes. Now, since you have undergone one course of microcontroller, you know some of the things regarding the addressing modes. What actually addressing modes means, right? The concept is the same. Okay, addressing modes is the way in which the data to be processed is referred or is accessed, right? The addressing mode means the methodology in which the data is addressed or accessed. What do I mean by this? Like I want to, let's say, add some numbers, or I want to copy some numbers from one location to another. So how that data or how those numbers are accessed, the way in which they are accessed, that is the mode of addressing. Okay. In PKTNF 458, we have four addressing modes: immediate addressing, direct addressing, indirect addressing, and indexed ROM addressing. Okay. Now, you may or may not be familiar with the names, but it doesn't really matter because we are going to see all these four in detail. Okay. One by one. And in fact, I would suggest that you uh, forget whatever you have learned, or what you if the names sound some bells are in your head, then I would say just keep that aside and we will see this separately right now. Okay. So the first one is immediate addressing mode. So what it means, in this case the data, remember what I have said on the earlier slide. Addressing mode is the methodology in which the data is addressed, by which the data is addressed. We always want to perform operations on some data, right? Like we have seen some programs, we added some numbers, or we moved one number to another, right? So we always process some numbers. So how that number is accessed, that is indicated by the addressing mode. Okay. So in the first addressing mode, which is called what, immediate addressing mode. Okay. In this case the data that we want to process is given in the instruction itself. Okay. What I am saying, the data to be processed is given in the instruction itself, right? So uh, it may involve a register inside the MPU. Remember what I'm saying, register inside the MPU. I'm not saying the microcontroller. I'm not saying register inside microcontroller. I'm saying register inside the microprocessor unit, which is part of the microcontroller. If you remember the diagram that I have always been talking about, that on one side it was something like this. Okay, it was here written MPU, there was some ALU, right? Some registers, right? And then there were buses, Okay, and there was one program memory, and there was another RAM, right? So this section, all this whole thing is microcontroller, right? And this section is called microprocessor unit. What I'm saying here, that these, in the immediate addressing mode, it may involve register inside the MPU, means on this side. Okay, registers inside the MPU may be involved, but the major part is, the most important part to focus on is that the data that we want to process is given in the instruction itself. Okay, we have already seen examples of these instructions. For example, move LW, this instruction. What it does, it copies literal to W, right? And that literal is this value. So this instruction, what will it do? It will copy the value 42 into WREG. This number is actually the value that we have to copy in WREG, in the working register, right? Another example of the instruction, move LB 03. We have also used this instruction already. What this instruction does, it loads the value 03 into BSR, right? It loads the value 03 in BSR, means bank select register. We have also used this instruction. Again, here you can see the value that is actually that we actually want to copy into BSR is given directly in the instruction itself. Okay. Similarly, we have also seen this instruction, add LW. What it does, it adds the value or the literal given in the instruction with the value or with the contents of W, right? You getting this point? Add LW. We have seen this instruction also, right? The value is actually given in the instruction itself. 07. We want to add 07 to the contents of W. So the bottom line is, in the immediate addressing mode, the value or the data that we want to process is mentioned inside the instruction directly. Okay. And one simple way to identify the addressing mode is when you find the letter L inside the instruction. Because if you remember, whenever there is L in the instruction, it stands for literal. Literal means the actual data or the value, right? So that value is directly given in the instruction. It is indicated by this L, right? So to identify the addressing mode, whether it is immediate addressing or not, you can see if there is this L, letter L in the instruction, it will indicate that this particular instruction is following the immediate addressing mode. Okay. Okay. So now the next addressing mode is direct addressing. Okay. Now what direct means? It means that the address, of the data to be processed is specified in the instruction. Note down the difference between the first and second mode. First one was immediate addressing mode, where the data was given in the instruction. Here, the data to be processed was mentioned in the instruction, right? Whereas in the direct addressing mode, the address of the data to be processed is specified in the instruction. This instruction may also involve registers inside the MPU. Okay. This instruction will particularly involve specification of address of file register in the data memory. You remember this thing, this part, that the data to be processed is normally in the data memory or in the RAM. So what we actually want is the address of the memory. If this address is directly given in the instruction, then it means that it is the direct addressing mode. Okay. Now, for example, in this case, whether it is using BSR mode or access bank mode doesn't matter. It is actually both the things are valid for direct addressing, because that is the way how it will be, how the address will be specified. Actually, we want 12-bit address, right? The data is stored in data memory, and the address of the data memory is 12 bits. So that 12-bit address should be specified by the instruction, and it is specified in two ways, either in BSR method or the access bank method. So if you set a equal to 1 inside the instruction, then the BSR value will be used and the remaining 8 bits are in the instruction. If you are using access bank method, a will be used, a will be made 0, BSR will be neglected, and the address will be taken from the simple 8-bit given in the instruction. Like you see in this instruction, we have seen this instruction also, move WF. Now what is this instruction? Move WF, what it does, it copies the data from W to F, right? Now W, we know W is the working register which is part of the MPU, right? It is part of the MPU. So where is the second data? What we want, we are moving from W to F. So in this instruction, we don't have data. We don't have data in this instruction. You should note down this. What we have, what is this 42x 0x42? This is address. This is what? This is address of the location where we want to put the data. Where we want to put the data from W. This is the address, and this 0 is for A. Means in access bank. This 42 location is in the access bank. This is what it indicates, right? So as you can see in this instruction, we have given the address of the data. Address we have specified directly in the instruction. We have directly specified the address. We are directly saying that the contents of W should be shifted to 42 location. Means at this location, at this address. So the address is specified in the instruction directly. So another example, move FF. What it does, it copies the data from first register to second register. What are these? These are the full addresses, full 12-bit addresses of the two registers, right? The instruction will copy the contents of register 303 to 246, right? You're getting this? We have seen these instructions already. I'm just now, we are relating them with the addressing modes. In this instruction also, we have specified the address directly in the instruction, right? We have specified the address directly in the instruction. We have not specified the data. Remember, we don't know what is the value at 303 or at 246. We don't know these values. These are addresses. Addresses are specified in the instruction directly. That's why it is called direct addressing mode. Another example of the instruction, add WF. We have seen this also, right? What this instruction does, it adds the contents of W with the contents of file register whose address is given here. This is F. Okay. F, comma D, comma A. This is how the instruction works, right? This is how the instruction works. So the F is 07, since A is 0 means 07 is from access bank. So the address of the data to be processed is given in the instruction 07 from access bank location, right? And the data, whatever data is there, that will be added to W, and result will be stored where? In D is equal to 0 means in W. Okay. So the bottom line again of this type of addressing is how to identify. You can see there is generally the letter F involved in the instruction. Generally, this letter F is involved in the instruction. For example, here move WF, move FF, add WF. This F is for file register, right? It means that the operand of this instruction is F. Operand of this instruction is F. F is address of the file register. Means we have to specify the address in the instruction. That's why this is direct addressing mode. Okay. Any question until this point? Now, the third mode is the indirect addressing mode. Okay. Now, what we do in the indirect addressing is a register is used as a pointer to the RAM location. Okay. This is a different way of accessing the data. Okay. Remember this thing. This is a different way of accessing the data. Okay. What we are doing, we have a separate register which will be used as a pointer. Okay. We have 3 registers with us which can be used as pointers: FSR0, FSR1 and FSR2. These are the 3 registers which we can use as pointer to the RAM location. Each of these registers can hold 12-bit address of RAM, the full address of the RAM location. Okay. But the point is, we cannot use them directly inside the instruction when we want to access the data. Okay. What we have is there is an indirect register associated with each FSR denoted as INDF X. X stands for 0, 1 or 2. Means what? Since there are 3 FSRs, FSR0, FSR1, FSR2, so each FSR has a corresponding indirect register INDF0, INDF1, INDF2, right? So you are getting FSR0 is associated with INDF0, FSR1 is associated with INDF1, and FSR2 is associated with INDF2. Okay. So how this works is, we load the value of the address. We load the full address of RAM location in any FSR. If you remember, we have seen this kind of a problem in our day before on yesterday's lecture, or day before yesterday's lecture, I guess. Yeah, on Friday's lecture, I think. Okay. We have seen this example. If you remember, I had given you a sample problem and asked you to solve it using the regular method, and then during the lecture, I told you another way of solving the same problem using the FSR method, right? So that is what we are seeing here. Okay. What we do, in a first instruction, we have to load the full address of the RAM location in any of the FSRs. For example, here I am loading the address 255 in FSR1. Okay. So after execution of this instruction, the address 255 will be in FSR1. Okay. Remember, this particular instruction is not indirect addressing. This particular instruction is actually immediate addressing. Why? because this value itself is getting loaded in FSR1. The value is given already, directly given in the instruction, right? So this particular instruction is not immediate, it is not indirect addressing. In fact, it is immediate addressing. You can also see it by the letter L. Okay. The second instruction here is the example of indirect addressing, right? See, move WF is the instruction, but the F here is INDF1. Okay, what I have here, INDF1. This, as I said, INDF1 is associated with FSR1, right? So this INDF1 is only a virtual register. Actually, in the instruction move WF, it is expected that we give the F, we give the address of F. But here we have given INDF1. This is a virtual register which just indicates that it is not a real register, but it is pointing towards the register whose address is in FSR1. Are you getting? Remember this line. Please concentrate. This INDF indicates the location pointed by FSR1. Okay. So if now in this case FSR1 is 255. So what INDF will do is, right, when we write here in move WF INDF, what it will do is it will consider the address of F as pointed by FSR1, which is 255. Okay. And the instruction, what it is doing, it is copying W to F. So ultimately what is going to happen is the data from W will be copied to F, but the address of F is held in FSR1. This is the full way, full understanding of this INDF involved instruction. I'm repeating again. It will copy the contents of W to file register whose address is pointed by FSR1. Okay. This is, as I said in that previous lecture, that this is also equivalent to BSR being 02. Okay. And here in that case writing 0x55 comma what, comma 1 for, this is for A. You would have written it in this way also, but this is this way of writing the program by means of indirect addressing by using the FSR modes or pointers. What it does is it makes the program addressing dynamic. What I mean by this, dynamic means well, actually you will come to know this when we write our looping programs in our coming lectures. Okay, it is very much advantageous to use this mode in certain cases, like when we want to use looping. There are also other registers associated with these FSRs, like post INCX, pre INCX, post DCX, and plus WX. Okay, all these instructions in all these registers, this X means 0, 1, or 2. Okay, and those are associated with the corresponding FSRs. Okay, these instructions, these registers basically will not be used directly in case of in case like this. They have very unique and very important use or applications in case of looping. We will soon see these registers, this post INC and post DEC and pre INC, etc. Okay. Okay, any doubt in this case until this point? Here we have seen the example. Actually, we have seen the full example of this already, right? And the point in the point of discussing in this lecture is that we are talking about the indirect addressing mode, how the addressing is done, right? You can see inside the instruction here, inside the instruction, this is INDF is not the address of the register where we want to shift the data. It is just indicating that the address is in FSR1, means it is pointed by FSR1. Okay. Now we will see the fourth addressing mode, and we'll come to an end. Okay. The fourth addressing mode is the indexed ROM addressing. Okay. Indexed ROM addressing is basically for reading or writing into the ROM. What I mean by ROM? ROM is the program memory. You remember that, right? Program memory we have. That also we can manipulate through program itself. Okay. And basically it is considered as table read and table write instructions. Okay. For that, we have one particular register, we can say, or operator, I would say. It is called table pointer. Okay. It is denoted by this TBLPTR, table pointer. Okay. This is actually a 21-bit pointer. Why 21 bits? Because program memory address is 21 bits, right? So using the table pointer, we have the address of the program memory location, means it holds the full program memory address using these three registers. TBL PTR L, L for low, TBL PTR H, H for high, and U for upper. So using this three 8-bit register, we get the full 21-bit register, 21-bit address of the program memory, which is stored in the table PTR register or table PTR pointer. Okay. Now, whenever there is a read instruction, the data at this location is copied to the table latch register, TABLAT, table latch register. Okay. Whenever there is a read instruction, the data pointed by a table pointer. See, this is a 21-bit address. This is pointing to some location in the program memory, right? That each memory holds how many? Each memory holds 8-bit address, 8-bit value. That value will be copied to the table latch register. Okay. And if there is a write operation or write instruction, whatever value in table latch is, that will be copied to the location. Means this goes like here. Okay. Whatever the table pointer is pointing, the value inside table latch will go to that particular location. But there are some additional things when there is a table read or table write, and those are listed here. TBL RD star, TBL WT star, RD for read, WT for write. Okay. And when there is only this star, it means either the read or write operation will happen, whatever the instruction comes, but the table pointer is not modified. Okay. Okay. The value will be, if there is a TBL RD star instruction, value will be read, but table pointer will not change. If it is TBL WT star, value will be written, but pointer will not change. Then there are these additional different ways of doing the things. See, TBL RD star plus. What will it do? It will open the channel star plus and show you some serials. Is it like that? No. What it will do? It will read. Okay. It will read as said here, and then increment the table pointer. If it is WT star plus, then it will write at the as discussed here, and then increment the pointer. Means what it is called post incrementing. Okay, operation and then incrementing. Similarly here, operation, reading or writing operation, then decrementing the pointer. Okay. Okay, you getting this? Here, note down the sequence. It is plus star. Means what? The pointer will be incremented and then the read or write operation will be performed. Means this is called pre-increment. Okay. This is called post increment. This is called post decrement. Okay. Post of what or pre of what? Performing the operation. If it is a read operation, then reading will happen and the increment will happen afterwards. Here, since it is decrement, reading or writing will happen and then the decrement of this will happen. In this particular case, note down the sequence here, plus star. The sequence is first incremented, the pointer is first incremented and the read or write operation will happen. Okay. So these are the 4 addressing modes. Okay. We have covered all these 4 addressing modes. If you have any questions, you can ask. You can also